The quantum receivers hummed with an almost imperceptible vibration, a sound most would dismiss as background noise. But Maya Rodriguez knew better. Her fingers, calloused from years of late-night research and countless cups of synthesized coffee, danced across the holographic interface with a musician's precision. The lunar listening post was humanity's most advanced yet most forgotten outpost. Buried beneath a kilometer of regolith, shielded from every known form of electromagnetic interference, it was the galaxy's ultimate ear, listening for whispers that no one else wanted to hear. Maya's grandmother had been one of the original designers of this facility. Maria Rodriguez had been a radical in the scientific community, insisting that humanity's future lay not in looking inward, but in listening outward. The universe speaks, she would tell young Maya, but most people have forgotten how to listen. The signal first appeared as a microscopic anomaly, a pattern so faint that it would have been lost in the cosmic background radiation to any other system. But the quantum array caught it, decoded it, began to reconstruct something that was both a message and a wound. Colonel Jack Hendricks approached, his heavy boots creating a rhythmic counterpoint to the facility's electronic hum. He was old-school military, the type who believed in hard data and tangible threats. "Rodriguez," he barked, "what are you doing?" Maya didn't look up. Her eyes were fixed on the slowly materializing transmission, each fragment revealing more of a story that seemed impossible. "Sir, I'm receiving a distress signal, but it's different." Hendricks leaned in, his cynicism thick as armor. "Different how?" A holographic display began to populate with data, star charts, spectral analyses, linguistic fragments that seemed to dance between mathematical precision and raw emotional content. It was a transmission that defied conventional communication, a cry for help encoded in a language that was part mathematics, part pure survival instinct. "It's from the Krelnak sector," Maya whispered, her voice a mixture of professional calm. And something else. Excitement, perhaps even hope. The Krelnak were legendary among xenoanthropologists, a civilization that most believed had been completely wiped out generations ago. Rumored to be technologically primitive, they had been labeled as a lost species in most galactic databases. But this transmission suggested something else entirely. Hendricks reached to dismiss the signal, his hand moving to delete what he assumed was nothing more than cosmic noise. Maya's hand shot out, stopping him. "Wait," she said, her grip surprisingly strong. "Listen." As the garbled message played, the room seemed to change. The air grew thick with potential, with the weight of something momentous. Fragments of a story began to emerge. A civilization under siege, a desperate call for help that had traveled across unimaginable distances. The transmission spoke of the Void Harvesters, a name that sent a chill through even the most hardened military personnel. A technological terror that consumed civilizations, leaving nothing but memory in their wake. Maya Rodriguez understood something in that moment that would change everything. This was not just a message. This was a challenge, a test. And humanity was about to answer. The basement archives of the Global Xenopolitical Research Center were a labyrinth of secrets. Rows of quantum-encrypted data drives stretched into darkness, each containing fragments of galactic history that most humans, and certainly no aliens, were meant to see. Maya Rodriguez moved with a predator's grace, her augmented contact lenses scanning each drive, cross-referencing databases that existed in parallel networks invisible to ordinary systems. Her mother's legacy was everywhere in these archives. Elena Rodriguez, the most controversial xenopolitical strategist of her generation, had left behind more than just research. She'd left a trail of uncomfortable truths. The first anomaly appeared slowly, like a bruise spreading beneath digital skin. Isolated reports of missing civilizations, transmission logs with critical sections redacted, diplomatic communiques that spoke volumes in their carefully crafted silences. She wasn't just looking anymore. She was hunting. A holographic interface flickered to life, projecting a three-dimensional map of known galactic civilizations. But Maya saw the ghosts, the spaces between the visible points. Civilizations that should have been there weren't. "Oh, Mom," she whispered, "what did you find?" Alina Rodriguez had disappeared 3 years ago during a classified mission to the Outer Rim. Official reports claimed a navigation system failure. Maya knew better. Her mother didn't make navigation errors. The quantum decryption algorithm she'd inherited, a personal gift from her mother, began to peel back layers of information. Each decoded fragment revealed a more horrifying picture. The Galactic Concordat wasn't a peacekeeping organization. It was a carefully constructed system of controlled extinction. Systematic patterns emerged. Civilizations that showed potential for advanced technological development would mysteriously vanish, not through open conflict, but through 1,000 subtle manipulations, economic embargoes, strategically placed conflicts, engineered resource shortages. Maya's hands were shaking now, but her eyes burned with a cold, calculating fury. The Krellnak weren't an isolated incident. They were part of a larger pattern, a deliberate culling of emerging civilizations that threatened the established galactic power structure. She compiled her findings into an encrypted report so complex that only a handful of people in the universe could even begin to decode it. Each layer was a weapon, each paragraph a potential revolution. When the report landed on Admiral Catherine Chen's desk, it would be like dropping a tactical nuclear weapon into the center of galactic diplomacy. The final piece of evidence was a transmission log, dated exactly 6 months before her mother's disappearance. Encrypted with a personal cipher that only Maya could crack, it contained a single line: "They must never know how close we are to breaking their system." Maya understood now. This wasn't just about saving the Krellnak. This was about exposing a galactic conspiracy that had silently shaped the evolution of intelligent life for millennia. And humanity was about to become the greatest threat that conspiracy had ever faced. The Andean Quantum Research Facility was humanity's best-kept secret, a subterranean marvel of engineering that defied every conventional understanding of scientific research. 12 kilometers beneath the mountain range, a gathering unlike any in human history was taking place. The world's most brilliant minds sat in a circular chamber that pulsed with holographic displays, quantum computing nodes, and an electric tension that could cut glass. Admiral Catherine Chen stood at the center, her presence commanding absolute attention. She was a study in controlled intensity, her naval dress uniform immaculate, her cybernetic left eye scanning each participant with a precision that spoke of decades of strategic planning. "We have 72 hours, she began, her voice a blade of absolute clarity. 72 hours to prepare a response that will redefine humanity's place in the galaxy. Dr. Akira Nakamura, the facility's chief quantum physicist, brought up the first holographic display. The Krellnak transmission flickered to life, a desperate cry encoded in mathematics and raw emotion. "The signal's complexity is unprecedented," he explained. "It's not just a message. It's a complete technological and cultural snapshot of a civilization on the brink of extinction." Maya Rodriguez stood nearby, her analysis providing the critical context. "The Void Harvesters don't just destroy civilizations," she interjected. "They systematically erase them. Cultural memory, technological archives, genetic repositories, everything." The room fell silent. Engineers, scientists, military strategists, each represented decades of hidden preparation. Prototype technologies that had existed only in classified research papers were now being pulled from secure vaults. Quantum phase drive systems, adaptive AI combat networks, nanomaterial whole compositions that could reshape themselves in real time. Dr. Alina Rodriguez's final research project, a comprehensive study of galactic power dynamics, was the philosophical foundation of their mission. Her posthumous work had predicted this exact moment, humanity's inflection point. "We are not asking for permission," Admiral Chen declared, her cybernetic eye projecting tactical simulations that danced across the chamber walls. "We are going to save them." The facility erupted into controlled chaos. Research teams that had worked in isolation for decades now synchronized their efforts. Quantum computing nodes began processing scenarios at speeds that would have been impossible just months earlier. Prototype warships, hidden in subterranean construction bays, began their final calibration sequences. Dr. Nakamura approached a massive quantum computation matrix. Adaptive response protocols are at 98% integration, he reported. We can now predict and counter technological systems we've never encountered before. Maya watched in awe as technologies that would have been considered science fiction mere months ago became brutal, beautiful reality. Quantum entangled communication networks, adaptive AI combat systems, hull materials that could reshape themselves faster than an enemy could target them. This was more than a rescue mission. This was humanity's declaration to the galaxy. We are here. We are ready. And we will not be ignored. The countdown began. 72 hours to prepare a response that would change everything. The moment of emergence was nothing short of quantum poetry. Space itself seemed to ripple, to fold and unfold in ways that defied conventional physics. Where moments before there was only the endless void and the void harvester's massive consumption ships, now there was humanity. The first human vessels didn't simply arrive. They materialized like technological phantoms, each ship a perfect fusion of adaptive intelligence and weaponry that rewrote the fundamental laws of space combat. Lieutenant Commander Arya Jung, lead tactical coordinator, monitored the quantum phase insertion from the command deck of the HSS Defiance. Her hands moved with surgical precision across holographic interfaces that pulsed with living data streams. Each movement was a calculated dance, each decision a potential salvation for an entire civilization. Quantum Drift stabilized, her co-pilot, a sentient system named ARIA, Advanced Responsive Intelligence Algorithm, reported. Target acquisition complete. The Void Harvester's initial response was confusion. Their massive consumption ships, each capable of dismantling entire planetary systems, suddenly found themselves surrounded by vessels that shouldn't exist. Ships that could alter their quantum signatures faster than targeting systems could lock on. Maya Rodriguez's voice crackled through the communication network, translating the alien communication channels in real time. They're panicking, she reported, her voice a mixture of professional calm and barely contained excitement. Their tactical networks are completely overwhelmed. And overwhelmed they were. Each human ship was more than a weapon. It was a living, thinking entity. Quantum adaptive hull materials shifted and changed, absorbing and redirecting energy weapons before they could make contact. Weapon systems that had been theoretical months ago now danced across the void, striking with impossible precision. The HSS Defiance led the assault, a vessel that was less a ship and more a mobile quantum computer with planet-killing capabilities. Its primary weapon was something the Galactic community had never seen, a quantum disassembly beam that could literally unravel molecular structures at faster-than-light speeds. Enemy vessels attempting defensive formation, ARIA reported. Probability of successful counterattack, 0.00023%. Admiral Catherine Chen's voice was ice and fire. Engage full adaptive protocol. Show them what humanity can do. The battle was over before the Void Harvesters understood it had begun. Entire squadrons of alien vessels simply ceased to exist, not destroyed, but systematically dismantled at the quantum level. Their most advanced defensive systems became nothing more than cosmic dust, scattered across light years of space. Maya watched the tactical displays, her grandmother's words echoing in her mind. The universe speaks, but most people have forgotten how to listen. Humanity was now speaking the language of absolute technological supremacy. Krulnak Primary Systems located, ARIA announced. Rescue protocols initiating. In the cold, silent void of space, humanity had just rewritten the rules of existence, and they were just getting started. The battle was more than a military engagement. It was a symphony of technological revolution, conducted by Admiral Catherine Chen with the precision of a master composer. Each human vessel moved with an organic fluidity that defied every known principle of space combat. They were living systems, not mere machines, adaptive, predictive, almost prescient in their ability to anticipate and counter every Void Harvester strategy. Analyze and adapt, Chen murmured, her cybernetic eye tracking multiple engagement vectors simultaneously. The command deck of the HSS Defiance was a nexus of controlled chaos, holographic displays showing real-time tactical information that shifted and evolved faster than biological consciousness could comprehend. Dr. Alexei Volkov, the mission's chief computational strategist, monitored the adaptive AI systems, tactical prediction accuracy at 99.987%, he reported, his voice a mix of scientific detachment and barely contained awe. The enemy's strategic algorithms are completely paralyzed. It wasn't just about overwhelming force. It was about complete technological dominance. Human weapon systems learned and evolved with each millisecond of engagement. A Void Harvester weapon would discharge, and before the energy could fully manifest, human ships would have already developed a perfect counter frequency, rendering the attack harmless. Defensive shields weren't just blocking. They were actively deconstructing incoming threats at the quantum level. Maya Rodriguez continued her real-time linguistic analysis, translating the increasingly desperate communications of the Void Harvesters. Their tactical networks were collapsing, communication channels fragmenting into pure mathematical chaos. "They can't understand us," she reported. "We're operating on an entirely different level of technological comprehension." Lieutenant Commander Arya Zhang managed the ship's adaptive combat network, her hands moving in intricate gestures that controlled massive technological systems. Each movement was a ballet of strategy, each decision a potential turning point in the battle. The Krulnak observation ships, those that remained, watched in absolute wonder. Humanity wasn't just fighting a war. They were demonstrating a fundamental reimagining of technological potential. Admiral Chen's strategy was both brutal and elegant. Rather than simply destroying the Void Harvester fleet, they were systematically dismantling their entire technological infrastructure. Quantum-entangled computer networks were being invaded, adaptive viruses rewriting alien technological foundations at their most fundamental levels. "Primary objective," Chen announced, her voice cutting through the controlled chaos of the command deck, "is not destruction. It is complete technological neutralization." Dr. Volkov's computational models showed something unprecedented. The human fleet was actively learning from each moment of engagement, developing strategies that would have been scientifically impossible mere moments before. Weapon systems were evolving. Defensive capabilities were expanding. The very nature of their technological approach was changing in real time. The Void Harvesters had conquered countless civilizations through technological superiority. Now they were experiencing true technological supremacy for the first time. As the battle entered its final phase, it became clear that this was more than a military intervention. This was a declaration, a statement about the fundamental nature of technological potential. Humanity had arrived, and the universe would never be the same. The Galactic Council Chamber was a marvel of architectural design, a massive spherical room that seemed to float in space, its transparent walls revealing the infinite cosmos beyond. Normally a place of measured diplomacy, it now pulsed with a tension that could shatter quantum bonds. Representatives from over 200 sentient species sat frozen, their various physiological responses creating a symphony of shock. Some leaked bioluminescent chemicals of pure panic. Others went completely rigid, neural networks overloading with incomprehension. The holographic display at the chamber center showed humanity's intervention in excruciating detail. Zornak, the crystalline arbiter of the Centauri Concordance, was the first to speak. Its silicon-based form trembled, translucent crystal flesh shifting between shades of terror and disbelief. "This is impossible," it managed to articulate, its communication tendrils flickering with quantum-encoded distress. Maya Rodriguez stood at the primary translation interface, her augmented linguistic system breaking down the multilayered communications happening simultaneously. Each species was broadcasting on multiple frequencies: verbal, chemical, electromagnetic, quantum entangled. She was parsing them all. Impossible is a word for the unprepared. Came the translation of her response, delivered with a clinical precision that sent additional waves of shock through the assembled representatives. The recorded transmissions from the Void Harvester fleet played on repeat. Humanity's ships moved with a fluidity that violated every known principle of spatial engagement. Weapon systems that adapted faster than thought. Defensive capabilities that seemed to rewrite the fundamental laws of physics. Ambassador Corell of the Proxima Collective, a gaseous entity that typically communicated through complex molecular exchanges, condensed into a near-solid state of pure confusion. They were not even on our advanced species watch list. It managed to transmit. How? Maya's translation systems picked up the underlying currents of fear, fascination, and pure existential terror. The Galactic Council had maintained its power through a carefully constructed illusion of technological superiority. Humanity had just exposed that illusion as completely fabricated. Admiral Catherine Shen's recorded intervention played across the holographic displays, her cybernetic eye scanning the chamber, her voice a blade of absolute clarity. The Krellnak are not alone. No civilization stands alone. The implications were staggering. This wasn't just a rescue mission. It was a fundamental challenge to the entire galactic power structure. Dr. Alexei Volkov, watching from the human delegation's secure channel, allowed himself the smallest of smiles. Decades of hidden research, of preparation, of watching and waiting, had culminated in this moment. The Void Harvester's final transmissions continued to play. Each replay revealed more of humanity's unprecedented technological approach. Weapon systems that learned. Ships that thought. A level of adaptive intelligence that made the most advanced alien technologies look like primitive tools. They are not a species, one fragmented Void Harvester transmission read. They are a force of nature. In that moment, the Galactic Council understood something profound. Humanity had not just entered the galactic stage. They had rewritten the entire script of interstellar existence. And they were just getting started. The Krellnak homeworld was not what anyone expected. Devastated but not destroyed, the planet bore the scars of near extinction. Massive impact craters, fractured continental plates, atmospheres still thick with the radioactive remnants of the Void Harvester's attempted annihilation. Yet something extraordinary was happening. Life persisted, adapted, transformed. Dr. Elena Rodriguez's posthumous research notes became the blueprint for humanity's reconstruction efforts. Maya stood on the planet's surface, her environmental suit interfacing directly with the planetary restoration systems, watching in real time as nano-terraforming technologies began their intricate work. "We're not just saving them," Maya whispered to herself. "We're giving them a chance to become something entirely new." The first human Krellnak collaborative teams were a study in unexpected synergy. Krellnak biological engineers, survivors with a genetic memory of their near extinction, worked alongside human quantum technologists. They weren't just rebuilding. They were reimagining what survival could mean. Admiral Catherine Chen supervised the initial reconstruction from the HS Defiance's orbital platform. Her cybernetic systems parsed millions of data points per second, coordinating a reconstruction effort that was part science, part art, part pure human determination. Medical nanite networks at 73% planetary coverage, reported Dr. Alexei Volkov. Atmospheric reconstruction ahead of projected timelines by 26%. But it was more than technological intervention. Humanity brought something the Krellnak had nearly lost: hope. Massive orbital factories began assembling themselves, using adaptive construction technologies that could transform raw planetary materials into complex infrastructure within hours. Energy grid systems that would have taken other civilizations centuries were taking shape in days. The Krellnak survivors watched in a mixture of awe and trepidation. Their species had been moments away from complete extinction. Now they were witnessing a total planetary rebirth. 10. the senior Krulnak biological coordinator, approached Maya. Their communication was a complex dance of translated languages, biochemical signals, and quantum-entangled understanding. Why? Khan asked, the universal translator rendering the complex biochemical query into simple human language. Why save us? Maya's response came from deep in her family's legacy of synopolitical understanding. Because no civilization stands alone, she said, echoing her mother's final research. Because potential cannot be measured, only discovered. The reconstruction efforts went far beyond physical restoration. Quantum data archives were being reconstructed, genetic repositories restored, cultural memories digitally preserved and expanded. It was resurrection on a civilizational scale. As the first new Krulnak cities began to take shape, organic structures that merged biological adaptation with quantum technological principles, something profound became clear. This was not charity. This was not simple rescue. This was a fundamental reimagining of what interstellar cooperation could mean. From the orbital platform, Admiral Chen watched the planetary transformation. We're writing a new chapter, she said quietly. Not just for the Krulnak, for everyone. Humanity had done more than save a civilization. They had shown the galaxy what true technological empathy could look like. The first truly collaborative interstellar conference in galactic history convened aboard the HS Defiance, a neutral ground that symbolized everything that was about to change. Representatives from over 200 civilizations filled the massive conference chamber, their diverse physiological forms a testament to the universe's incredible complexity. Holographic interfaces translated not just language, but entire cultural contexts, bridging gaps that had existed for millennia. Maya Rodriguez stood beside Admiral Catherine Chen, her role now extending far beyond linguistic translation. She was a bridge between civilizations, between potential futures. The Galactic Concordat is hereby dissolved, Chen announced, her voice cutting through millennia of established power structures. We're writing a new framework of mutual protection and potential. The proposal was revolutionary. A system where no civilization could be systematically ignored. Where technological potential was nurtured, not suppressed. Where rescue wasn't a political calculation, but a fundamental moral imperative. Dr. Alexei Volkov presented the technical framework, a quantum-entangled communication and protection network that would allow any civilization to send a distress signal that could not be blocked or ignored. Each species would contribute based on their capabilities, creating a truly collaborative defensive system. The crystalline arbiter of the Centauric Concordance, the same entity that had once dismissed humanity, now spoke with a transformed resonance. We were wrong, its quantum-translated communication revealed. Potential cannot be measured by current capabilities, but by the capacity for growth. Krulnak representatives stood as living proof of this principle. Their civilization, moments from extinction, was now at the forefront of technological innovation. Adaptive technologies developed during their reconstruction were already revolutionizing multiple fields of galactic research. 10. The Krulnak biological coordinator addressed the conference. Humanity did not save us. The translation rang out. They showed us how to save ourselves. The new framework wasn't just a diplomatic document. It was a living, adaptive system that could evolve with the civilizations it protected. Quantum adaptive algorithms would ensure that no civilization could be systematically marginalized again. Maya understood the deeper significance. This was her mother's final legacy, a vision of galactic cooperation that transcended traditional power structures. We are not erasing differences, Admiral Chen explained. We are creating a framework that celebrates them. The most radical aspect of the new system was its fundamental principle: no civilization stands alone. Resources, knowledge, and protection would be shared based on need and potential, not current technological capabilities. As the conference progressed, something extraordinary happened. Civilizations that had been enemies for millennia began to see each other differently. The Void Harvester's strategy of division was being systematically dismantled, not through conflict, but through understanding. From the orbital platform, watching the conference unfold, Dr. Volkov allowed himself a rare smile. Decades of hidden preparation, of watching and waiting, had culminated in this moment. Humanity had not conquered the galaxy. They had invited it to reimagine itself. As the first draft of the new galactic framework was signed, Maya Rodriguez knew they were witnessing more than a political moment. This was the beginning of something entirely new, a future where potential knew no boundaries.